And guys, we just had an email come through, I guess, from DC. Have you guys been able to put up yet? There we go. My wife is very hostile to me, even though this divorce is all her idea. I believe I have the most stable home and should get primary custody of our 2 children. No alcohol, drugs, never cheated, good job. Can't say the same for her. What are my odds, considering women usually end up with custody? And that plays into probably that 50-50 rule.
It does, and that speaks exactly to that 50-50 rule. So you're going to start at 50-50. Just like it's good. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. It's the same thing for the women and the men. It puts everybody on equal footing, and you go into the proceeding trying to figure out, okay, the things that he's talking about are part of the issues. The judges have to go through 20-something factors. It's A through T. And they're determined by like child psychologists and lawyers and things of that nature, and they're supposed to go through this list of factors to determine what's best for the child. A lot of it's stability, having a good home. The infidelity doesn't go into it as much, although it can come into the child custody issue a bit. Now, drugs, alcohol, things of that nature, of course, are all going to come into play.
Now, Rob, we are a no-fault state when it comes to auto accidents. So if you get involved in an accident and you see your insurance company starting to pay for medical benefits towards you or lost wages, that's because we are a no-fault state, and we're one of the only states in the whole union, I guess, that is considered no-fault. But I think we're also a no-fault state too, as well, for family law issues, right?
Well, for divorce, yeah. Particularly, we are a no-fault divorce state, and I think where that really comes into play is equitable distribution and things of that nature. The courts have come down and basically we don't care. We don't really care why you're getting a divorce. You guys bought these things during the marriage or came into these things during the marriage, and we're going to split your property up equally. Where this can come back into play for, let's say, adultery or things of that nature, or generally just not being a good person or having some issues, drug issues or abuse or things of that nature, is it comes into play in alimony, depending on what's going on in alimony, and it could come into play for child custody as well. Generally speaking, when you're doing the child custody, especially, you're trying to determine what's the best interest of the child. That's what you have to get to. That's the standard of evidence for child custody cases, and those things can come into play there. Like I said, where they don't come into play is equitable distribution. Just because the guy stepped out on you or something like that doesn't mean you get everything he owns.
Right.
Yeah.
Typically, from start to finish, how long does I'm gonna call it a simple divorce, limited assets, no children, just can't get along, it's real easy to get married. You go down and get your marriage certificate, and you have your ceremony, and you can get married in a matter of a few hours, right? Or I guess maybe a few days or something. I think you got to get your certificate. But anyway,
get the certificate first. Yeah.
It takes a whole lot longer to get divorced. But even in a simple divorce, how many weeks, months, years?
I'm going to give you the lawyer answer, which is it depends.
Come on, give me the real answer.
And the reason I say it depends is it depends on how simple it's going to be. Now look, I have people that walk into my office all the time and say, look, we split our stuff. We don't want to do that. We need somebody to write us an agreement, and we can write the agreement out, and we can get that done in a week. If it hits a judge's desk, for the most part, they're going to sign it. They don't want any more cases on their desk than they've already got. They want those divorces to go through. The more assets you get, or the more fighting you get, the harder it gets. Now, I used to tell people the average divorce and contested divorce in Bay County takes between 12 and 18 months. The Florida State Supreme Court has come out and basically said these things are, it really supposed to be done in 6 months, but we'll give you 12 months. And everybody's kind of scrambling to do that and keep up with it. But right now, I think the judges here are doing a pretty good job of getting things moved along. And, usually about 12 months is the worst it's going to be. Where you have things that get slowed down, the biggest area of concern is discovery. And discovery, you guys do discovery for car wrecks and everything like that. It's a gathering of evidence. Well, when you're getting a divorce, you have to fill out a financial affidavit, and on the financial affidavit, you have to fill out all these things: your income, your expenses, what you're paying for, your debts, your credit cards, your assets and liabilities. All go on this form, and that's just the beginning of it.
Okay.
And after that, you have to provide what backs that up. In other words, 12 months of credit card statements, 12 months of bank statements.
Almost kind of like filling out your bar exam, right?
Oh,
We were
yeah,
talking about
yeah,
earlier,
yeah.
right?
I mean, it's, you know, if you've got an account, they want at least 12 months showing what the last 12 months have been. And I'll be honest, around here, usually you end up with a request for production asking for 3 years worth of stuff. And, you know, it's difficult to go back to, you know, at least for 12 months you can go back and get online usually and print out your statements and you're good.
So my buddy is right. Make sure that you want to get divorced if
Yeah.
you're getting divorced, right?
Absolutely.